What's going on, investors? It's that time of the month again where we go over our Bay Area real estate market update. If you guys are new to this channel, welcome. My name is Sean. I'm a real estate investor and hard money lender based here in the Bay Area. And on this channel, we go over personal finance tips, strategies, and current events to help you become an investing boss. Now, every month I pour through the MLS and take a look at the stats to see where we are in the market. Are prices going up? Are prices going down? Are homes staying on the market longer than they were last month? And is it a good time to buy or sell? So whether you're a real estate investor or if you're just looking to buy or sell your home here in the Bay Area, you definitely want to watch this video all the way until the end. And of course, if you're trying to flip a home and you need hard money funds to fund your project, then feel free to schedule a call with me. You can book a call with me with the link down in the description. So in this video, we're going to be looking at Northern California. We're going to be looking at statistics for Santa Clara County, San Mateo County, San Francisco County, Alameda County, and Contra, Costa County. We'll be looking at the single family home market as well as the condo and townhouse markets. All right, so the first one we're going to do is Santa Clara County single family homes. So we can see here that it looks like prices are going down a little bit. So before we were up here at 109%, and now we're closer to 108.5%. So the sales to list price ratio has gone down by about 1%. So if you guys are new to the channel and you haven't seen my market updates before, the sales to list price ratio is just a metric that states how much a property actually sells for relative to its listing price. So in this case, we're at 108.7%, which means that if a property was on the market for $1 million, then on average, it'll sell for 108.7% of that $1 million. So on average, your property here will sell for $1,087,000. Of course, some properties sell for way above asking, and some properties don't sell for asking at all. But on average, in Santa Clara County for single family homes, you're gonna get 108%. So this is also good for you if you're trying to buy a home. If you're trying to buy a single family home in the Bay Area, you're basically gonna have to expect that you need to put 10% of the asking price or more to win the property. The next statistic we look at is the average days to sell, also known as average days on market. So this statistic measures when a listing agent puts a property on the market and how long it takes for it to go pending or contingent. So basically when a property gets an offer. And of course, some agents have different ways of putting properties on the market. Some of them put a property on the market on a Wednesday and they don't accept offers until the very next Tuesday. Some agents put properties on a Friday and accept offers on a Monday, so you only have 3 days on market. In any case, the average in Santa Clara County right now is 2 weeks, up 1 day from last month. But as you can see as a trend, it looks like we're still doing pretty good. Since the springtime, your average days on market have decreased from 22 days down to like 2 weeks basically. And as you can see here from the trend too, your sales to list price ratio was pretty high at basically 10%. And now it's slowly going down to 8.7% above asking. Now, is this worrisome at all? Not really, because if you look at last year we were almost a full week ahead of where we were, and the average sales to list price ratio was at 102 or 103%. So it seemed like the market may be cooling a little bit relative to where it was in the super peak hot spring and summer months, but it's still not really that significant where people are going to sell their houses for free. Like, it's still a very hot market here in the Bay Area based on this stat alone. So the next statistic that we look at is the months of inventory. And this basically states if you had no more new properties on the market, how long would it take for all of the homes in Santa Clara County to sell off if they keep being sold at the same pace? And as you can see here in the spring months of this year, it was very, very hot. Like, we're basically still under 1 month. So if no homes were put on the MLS, then it would take less than 1 month to sell all the homes in Santa Clara County. So yeah, this signifies that we're still in a very hot market. So next one we look at is number of homes for sale versus sold. The red bar stands for how many properties are active on the market, and the green ones are how many have closed. And as you can see here, we have more properties that are closed than we have on the market. So this usually signifies that this is more of a seller's market, where you don't have as much demand as properties that are being closed. Now, if you look at just trends, yeah, it's going down a little bit, so you have less properties that are actually being sold and closed on, and the number of actives have slowly started rising since the beginning of this year. But in any case, it's still very strong, so we still have a lot of greens relative to the reds here. If we look at the sales price over time, we can see that this sales price is actually pretty stable. So it looks like between last month and this month, it's only gone down by about $1,000, which isn't really significant. We saw the peak pricing in Santa Clara County in June of this year at $2.13 million, which is a lot of money for a property in Santa Clara County. Okay, so next we're gonna look at condos and townhouses for Santa Clara County. And you can see here that we have quite a big dip here From July to August, we went from around 104.5% to now 103.5%. So again, a 1% drop. Your average days on market have remained the same. So it seems like there's no real big difference between last month and this month in terms of the sales to list price ratio or days on market. Your months of inventory here have increased by a little bit as well. So we're just over 1 month now. Number of homes for sale versus sold. So we're now seeing a slight inversion. So for the past few months, we've seen more properties that are being sold and closed versus the ones that are active on the market. And right now in August, it was like the first month in a while since I guess March, where you have more actives than you have sold. We can see sales price over time has gone up a little bit from last month. Don't worry about this one right here. As of today's recording, this is September 1st, so this is probably just the few properties that have actually been closed and recorded by the time of this recording. And overall, it looks like your average sales price for a condo here in Clara County is around $985,000. All right, next up, we're gonna go to single family homes in Mateo County. And it looks here that things are pretty stable as well. So not too much change from last month. Takes around 109% to win your property. And average days on market is 16 days. So if you've recently listed your property and it's sitting on the market for over 2 weeks, don't worry, that's the average. All right, months of inventory, same here. Not too much change from last month at all. It's just flat at 1.1, 0.9, 0.9, 0.9, and 1 and 1. And if we look at the number of homes for sale versus sold, it's a similar story where things have slowed down in July and slowed down a little bit more in August. We have more actives than you have solds. And it looks like prices have dropped pretty significantly. So this is actually really interesting. Before you had a peak of 2.597, so almost $2.6 million on average. And now that's dropped to 2.203. So I'm not really sure what happened in August that your prices dropped by almost 10%. That's pretty significant here. So maybe San Mateo is a good place to buy now if you want a good discount. All right, so now look at San Mateo County condos and townhouses. And you can see that the sales to list price ratio has gone down by about 1% here as well. So it seems like it's a trend. Overall in the Bay Area, sales to list price ratio has gone down by about 1%. Your average days on market here has gone down though, so it seems like it's a little bit hotter in the condo market. And if we look at the months of inventory, it still seems like the same. Actually, it seems like it improved a little bit. Number of homes for sale versus sold. Yeah, as you can see, it was really bad last year. If you wanted a good deal, you should have bought a condo at this time. Because at this time, we had so many properties that were listed and not so many that are actually being bought. Now, it's more of a reversion to normalcy. We have a similar amount of properties that are on the market as the ones that are being sold. If we look at the average sales price, it has increased by just a little bit, but it's still not too bad. 1.067 to own a condo or townhouse in San Mateo County. All right, next we're gonna look at San Francisco County single family homes. It looks like your average sales to list price ratio has gone down again, almost 2%. So you can see here, this is like 118%, and here we're at 115.7%. And your average days to sell has increased from 19 days to 23 days. So there's a little bit of a slowdown in the San Francisco single family home market. Months of inventory here has increased a little bit as well. And your number of homes for sale versus sold, I guess we have less properties that are being sold now than it was back in springtime. Honestly, these numbers are so close, right? You have like a steady supply of properties here and a small fluctuation in the properties that are actually being sold. The most popular one being in June. So honestly, from this chart, it still looks like it might be a good time to buy properties in San Francisco. I mean, yes, the prices are still gonna be high, but relative to what they can be or what they should be, it seems pretty cheap. And if we look at the sales price over time, we can see that the prices have actually been decreasing in San Francisco. With a high of $2.5 million, right now these properties can be had for $2.169 million. So if you're trying to sell a home in SF, now may not be the best time because we are seeing this decline, but it could be a really good time to buy properties in SF. All right, now looking at condos and townhouses, we can see that your average days on market and sales to list price ratio has remained the same, pretty much 36 and 36, and these percentages are basically the same. So no change from last month for condos and townhouses in SF. As you can see here, the months of inventory is a lot higher than they are in other parts of the Bay Area. We're basically at 3 months of inventory. So that means that there is a huge slowdown in condos in SF. If we look at the number of homes for sale versus sold, you can see this huge disparity between properties that are active on the market and properties that are being sold. I thought this would have recovered by now, but it looks like the SF condo and townhouse market is still very stagnant. You have so many properties that are on the market and so few that are actually being sold. So if you're trying to flip a property, I would highly recommend staying away from the SF market in general, because selling the property seems to be a big challenge, and especially with condos and townhouses. But that being said, if you can afford a condo and townhouse in SF, I think it's still a really, really good idea to buy one and hold it for the long term. Because in maybe 2 or 3 years, once this whole pandemic thing is over, I can almost guarantee you these prices will go back up to normal, and then they're going to be up by a lot. So it seems like still a very good opportunity to buy properties. It's not as good as it was a year ago when you had this going on, where you had so many properties on the market. But this is still pretty decent. You still have over 3 times the amount of properties that are on the market than the ones that are being sold. So if you want a good deal in the Bay Area, check out condos and townhouses in SF. If we look at the sales price over time, we can see that the prices are slowly going down by $2,000, so it's not too much anyway. 1.394 to 1.392. Again, don't worry about this number. This is the 1st of September, so this is probably that one condo that closed today that closed for $1.76 million. So ignore this number. All right, now let's look at Alameda County. Ooh, we can see a pretty big decline in sales to list price ratios in Alameda County. So before they're going for 115%, and now they're down 1% to 113%. So down 2% from its peak 2 months ago. But again, I don't think this is a real big deal, because your average days on market have pretty much remained the same at 11 to 13 days. And I think what's going on is listing agents understand the market a little bit better. They understand that more and more people are moving to Alameda County because it's so affordable, but still relatively close to jobs if they need to go in the office once or twice a week. And so because of that, they're now listing their properties higher so that more people will just jump in, right, and pay more money for it. So if you list it a little bit higher than usual, then of course your average sales to list price ratio will be lower. And I think that's just what's going on here. Your months of inventory here have increased a little bit, but still under 1 month. So this Alameda County market is still incredibly hot. And if we look at number of homes for sale versus sold, this is kind of interesting here. We can see that there's more and more properties that are being put on the market. So even though the number of homes that are being sold are still way more than what's actually on the market, we can see that there is more supply going in. So maybe in the future, prices may go down in Alameda County, especially as more and more properties get into the market. But if we look at sales price over time, it looks like they're just staying up there. Pretty much touching $1.4 million, but just being a little bit shy from there. Now, if we look at the condo and townhouse market for Alameda County, we can see that the average sales to list price ratio has gone down a little bit, and the average days on market has gone up by 1 day. Your months of inventory here have broken that 1 month mark, so now we're at 1.3 months. And it seems like in the past 2 months, your number of homes that are for sale have surpassed the ones that have actually been sold. So this is a small inversion in the market where you have more properties that are active than you have them being sold. So this tells me that there is a slowdown in the condo and townhouse market. And also here too, prices have decreased by just a little bit. All right, so finally we're gonna go to Contra, Costa County, and we're gonna look at the single family home market. And as you can see here, this is a blip that is probably wrong data, right? It says 214%. I don't believe it. I think there was an issue here. Maybe it was 114 and then someone fat fingered this number. But because of that, this chart's gonna be useless for us for the next year. Let's look at this data point here. The average days to sell here was 13 days, which is on par with everything else that was going on in East Bay. And average sales to list price ratio is 107.9%. So definitely lower than the peaks of 111%, 110%. If we look at the months of inventory, we can see that we're still under that 1 month mark. So market here is still doing very good. For number of homes for sale versus sold, similar to Alameda County, the number of properties that are being sold are pretty much solid, but we were seeing more and more properties being put on the market. I think sellers just understand that now is a good time to sell their properties, so they're putting more properties on the market. And sales prices over time, again, I don't know if this is correct here, this is probably an issue, but we can see that the average sales price in Contra, Costa County has gone down a little bit from its peak, here in May. Again, don't worry about this number because we're in the 1st of September. All right, now let's look at Contra, Costa County, condos and townhouses. So you can see a pretty big decrease here, but maybe just because these numbers are so big. We're still seeing about 2% decrease on the average sales to list price ratio and down, 2.5% from its peak. And it's taking around 15 days on average to sell the properties. Looking at the months of inventory, we can see that we're above 1 month, but only slightly at 1.1. So number of homes for sale versus sold, It's definitely not as crazy as it was back in June, but we are still seeing, a decent ratio here where the active properties and properties that are sold are pretty much in step. That is kind of like the sign of a healthier market. When it's like this, that's more of a buyer's market, and when it's like this, it's more of a seller's market. All right, and sale prices over time, it has gone up by a little bit. So now we're at $645,000 on average for a condo here in Contra, Costa County. Well, this concludes the monthly market update for Bay Area real estate. So as you can see in general, prices have been going down by just a little bit. Your average sales to list price ratio has also gone down by a little bit. So in general, if you're trying to buy a property here in the Bay Area, especially a single family home, then plan to offer at least 10% over the asking price. So if a property is offered at $1.5 million, then you should add $150,000 above your offer and possibly make it really clean so they accept your offer over anyone else's. In the condo and townhouse market, you don't need to go that far, maybe just 5 to 8% above asking. Historically, the Bay Area market is very cyclical, where in the springtime and early summer months, the market is very, very hot. In the later summer months, including now until September, it usually goes down a little bit. So if you guys are planning on picking up a property and you want to get the best deal, there's no harm in waiting a few more months until after Thanksgiving to buy properties at the cheapest price that they're going to be. COVID has kind of thrown off a lot of the seasonality here in the Bay Area, but in general, the data still shows that in the winter months, things are going to slow down. So let me know what you think about the Bay Area real estate market. Do you think that it's going to continue going up, or is it going to start coming down very quickly? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And again, if you guys are looking for help buying a property, selling a property, or if you need a loan for a real estate project, then you can feel free to contact me. My contact information is down in the description below. If you guys have enjoyed this video, please do me a huge favor and just take 2 seconds to smash like button to let YouTube know that you guys enjoy videos just like this one. And if you want to see more great real estate investing content or content around personal finance, then I highly encourage you guys to subscribe to this channel. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. My name is Sean, and I'll see you next time. Take care.